Alright, we are going to try to make a tape measure Yagi, or tape measure Yagi Uda antenna, and this will be for 2 meter, hopefully. So, going to get started on it. We got our tape measure, our sacrificial tape measure, which is 1-inch wide tape. So I couldn't use one of my older ones. I had to go actually get a good tape measure to sacrifice for this. See, got my electrical tape, got the connections for using 1/2-inch PVC. So I got a couple of crosses and a T. I got my cutters for the PVC pipe, which I already had from some plumbing work, so I'm gonna use that instead of a saw. Got some tin snips to cut the tape measure, and probably cut I need to cut this coax in half. So that's what we're going to be using to hook to the radio from the antenna, and our PVC pipe, and we're breaking out the big solder iron, the solder gun for this, because we need this to be hot, really hot. So regular soldering iron's probably not going to cut it. And a few extra tools here. Oh, got some clamps, hose clamps, and then got some zip ties also. So we'll get started on putting this together. So we're starting out here, and I've got this PVC pipe, which I got this at Home Depot. It was already cut into 2-foot sections, so it's really easy to walk around and get in my car and stuff like that. So this one here, we're going to start out, we're going to mark it at 11.5 inches and then at 18.5 inches. So the first piece will be 11.5 inches, and this little piece here, right here, is going to be 7 inches. Alright, got both of these here cut. I will need to cut one more piece for a handle. I really like these. It makes cutting so much easier. Now it's time to sacrifice the tape measure. I'm going to start measuring out and cutting it. So the first piece here that I cut off, as you can see, I measured it out to 41 3/8 inches using my non-sacrificial tape. And one thing to be careful of is to make sure that we lock our tape measure down, because if that goes back in, we're going to have to take the whole thing apart to get it out. Alright, just finished cutting 2 pieces for the next one, because the next one is a 2-piece, and it is cut to 17 3/4 inches. So there's those 2. Now I have the last piece cut at 35 1/8 inches. And I taped this around the tape measure. Hopefully that won't go back inside if it accidentally gets bumped. And we can use this tape measure for other antenna projects. So now I have all 3 cut. As you can see, I'm going to go back through and probably round the corners off just a little bit so that I don't have these sharp edges that are going to probably poke me in the eye. The next thing I'm doing right now is putting electrical tape around these. So you go around it about 20 times. So on this T, we're going to do both edges of that. On this cross, we're going to do these 2 edges, and then we'll do the same thing on this cross. So on one of the T's, I've got the longest piece, which is the reflector, on. Put zip ties on there, snipped them off. So I'm going to do the same thing with the shorter of the 2 long pieces, but it's going to go on this T here. Alright, now that we have both of these ready, turn over here to the shorter ones, the two short ones. And I need to take sandpaper and get the paint off of the ends of these. Got those sanded off. Alright, we got our coax cut. And we got the shielding. We're going to tin that wire, and we're also going to go ahead and get this set up to solder our wires on, and also our 5-inch hairpin. Alright, we got all of this on there, and it's very, very solid. Definitely recommend using the gun for this, because you don't want those joints right there to pop off of this. And in order to get this hot enough, I don't think that most soldering irons are going to be able to do that. So going with the soldering gun, I think, was the better option on that. So we've got this hose clamped down onto the cross, and now we have it put together. And we are going to take it outside. I'll get a better shot of it outside, see if we can pick up anything on it. I think I'll just try to receive first before I try to do any transmitting, because I need to check the SWR on it. We have Forbes Field, ATIS, off in this direction. This is a directional antenna.
Tuesday night through Thursday, mostly clear.
And here's WXK91 in Topeka.
70s. Highs in the middle 90s. Thursday night and Friday, mostly clear. Hot. Lows in the middle 70s. Highs in the upper 90s.
So the antenna is working. I said I checked it, I transmitted with it, and I had the SWR meter on there. I was able to hit the repeater. The SWR meter is saying 1. I don't know if it's just not able to read this or not, so I may check it against another SWR meter. I don't want to transmit on it if it's out, because it could damage the radio. But it seems like it's doing really good. I'm happy.